Okay, I don't have very long here because I haven't planned this out terribly well. My phone is about to die. It has 17% battery left. But I wanted to get back into the habit of actually recognizing what I've achieved in a given week because at the moment we are still in the middle of a pandemic. We have just moved out of level 4 lockdown and restrictions are lessening, but time is a tricky thing. And one of the traps I'm falling into at the moment is recognizing that yes, there's a lot that needs to be done, but losing sight of what I'm actually getting done on a week by week basis. So here we are. Hopefully, sound is okay. I haven't done a test video on this. It's very late. I'm tired, and I just want to make sure that I get this done as a way of being able to leave behind the part of the week where I work on my own things, because I'm splitting my time at the moment between my work, I'm focusing primarily on my Alexa development now. I'm still doing voiceover work when it crosses the table, but I'm not actively seeking it out. So splitting time between that, and I also do a little bit of work for the day job as well, which I'm tremendously grateful for at the moment because it means that I have that financial stability. So what have I done this week? This week rather, was actually a pretty fruitful week all up. So I had one last thing to implement in terms of the mechanics of the game of blackjack, and that was splitting hands. And that had a bit of a bit of an impact across the code base. I was surprised by the actual amount of impact that had. And it's still not as complex as it could be in that I'm only allowing you to split a hand once. Different casino rules allow you to potentially split hands multiple times if you actually luck into pairs again and again and again. But I'm just sticking with splitting hands once at the moment here. So that's done. And so I've released a version of the Discord bot because I've implemented this initially as a Discord bot, and I think that has actually borne fruit. That's allowed me to test things out quickly inside Discord with a text-based format and get just the core of the actual game of blackjack implemented. And that code's going to be reused by the Alexa skill. There we go, there's my battery warning. So that's all done. The Discord bot I have a version of that released. It's running now on AWS, so it can run permanently. And I'll come back to that and do things like configuring the code or enhancing the code so it can run on multiple servers and get state information for that correctly. So I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to kind of bench the Discord bot for the moment. I also shifted gears into picking up Alexa development again. So actually developing the Alexa skill, which there was a bit that I had to kind of front load back in my brain again because I haven't done that in a while. I've done prototyping of a bunch of things, but it's been a while since I've developed an Alexa skill from scratch. And I had a really frustrating thing happen today where I thought that there were some problems with the model of my Alexa skill, but it turns out it was the test console not doing the right thing. Every other testing tool and the live behavior of the skill was correct. So that lost me a little bit of time, but that's okay. That's okay. It's a learning process. And as always, I'm putting copious notes in Evernote so that the next time I go back and do the same thing, I've got more information available. The other thing I did, and I was really happy with this, I cracked a problem that I've kind of worked around with Alexa up until this point in time. I haven't really had a satisfactory solution for it, but that's serialization. Serialization is a really critical part of implementing an Alexa skill. I use Python because I love Python as a language. I find that I think well in Python. I don't like Node.js. I've never taken the time to pick it up, even though I know it's a marketable skill. And so serialization is all about in between requests. So every time I talk to an Alexa skill, then what happens is the Alexa skill goes, oh, okay, well, you said that you want to double down on your hand. Okay, well, let's process some information on that. And then the state information that you end up with, the state of the game at a point in time, then needs to be kind of packed away, almost vacuum sealed in a representation. And then the next time that I interact with the skill, what it does is it takes that vacuum sealed state information, rehydrates it, reinflates it, and goes, oh, that's where we were at. You just doubled down before. Okay, well, does what you're asking now make sense? And I found a Python framework called Kim. which has a really small amount of code that I need to use in order to actually crack that problem. And so going forward now, as well as I'm doing test-based development for everything, not because it's an evangelistic thing, because I think it's the one true way to code or anything, but because it saves time. And it means that if I do anything that I think is going to break things, then I've got a bunch of tests that I can rerun. So I've always been a huge fan of unit testing and automated unit testing. So I can't remember why I was talking about that. Yes, so as well as doing test-based development, I will now be developing any objects that are related to the state of things from the ground up with support for Kim as a framework. So that's going to go into the process of developing sort of state information objects. So not bad for 3 days work. There was a piece of marketing that I wanted to wrap up, which is kind of the initial blitz of here is the initial newsletters that you get when you sign up to my mailing list. I've still got one to do to close out that kind of story that I'm telling there, and I would have liked to have gotten that done today, but instead of doing that, I did go out for a walk, the first time that I've been out for a walk with a friend in physical space in a long time, and that was really good for my mental health. So I think all in all, that was a better decision. So yeah, so that was what I've gotten done this week. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, I hope you're well and you're safe. Wherever it is, whenever it is that you get a chance to look at this video, if it goes up onto YouTube, hopefully that's where it's going to end up. And I'm going to try and make this a regular practice. At the moment, I'm not promising anything because life is a lot, but fingers crossed, this will become a regular process. All right. Be safe, be well. See you soon.